This is We Are Horrorable with Bria and Charles.
So, you want to do the fucking intro?
Sure, yeah. All right. Hello, everybody. This is Charles Malcolm, and I am with the one and only...
Bria Beale.
And this is We Are Horrorable.
This is our second episode. One
Episode
and
2.
two. Second episode. So we're gonna start out with a little bit of info on some horror stories that we've learned about. Maybe only I've learned about.
Yeah.
Because Charles sucks, and
Okay.
doesn't do this in his
Charles
off time.
has other interests, but yeah.
It's true. There are things going on. I would like to say right now, there is a lot of, obviously people know there are a lot of things going on in the world with protests and riots.
Very difficult times we're in right now.
And the reason why I feel that we are releasing this episode a little bit later is because we've both been kind of affected by that.
Mm-hmm.
But recently I have rediscovered the reality show Most Haunted. It came out in 2001. It was probably one of the first paranormal reality shows.
What network? I don't even remember this.
Fuck, man. I think it was on the Travel Channel. I keep saying that to myself. I have not looked it up, but I'm pretty sure it was on the Travel Channel. It was with this British lady, blonde hair, and it was each episode was 20 minutes long. She's going through this usually a historical place. And this is why I fell in love with it, because she's going through the history of different castles and very old houses and inns or hotels, and talking about firsthand accounts of different fucking things that have happened there. And I've been just binge watching the shit out of that. And I remember when I was little, I felt like they were an hour long, but they're only 20 minutes long. So they're bite-sized fucking episodes of these hauntings. And what's amazing about this show, though, is that they do all the things that a paranormal reality show would. However, they have this guy on there named Derek. I can't fucking remember his last name, but he is a medium. And he every time, yeah, is he? He is. Every time he seems to be possessed by these ghosts, and then reenacts how these ghosts feel, and it is just
that sounds humiliating. That sounds awful, embarrassing.
But it's so good, and I love the history portion behind it. And then you have to take it with a grain of salt, But
yeah. What do they do? The cliffhanger? What's that over there? And then cut to a commercial, like the modern ghost hunting.
They do. But the thing is that since it's on Amazon Prime.
Okay, I was gonna ask where you saw this.
It's on Amazon Prime, and there's no commercials now, so it seems so much shorter. I'll fucking binge watch shit for 2 hours, and I'm already done with 7 episodes.
Yeah,
and I would love that career. That would be my favorite thing in the world. Hosting.
Pretending to be a medium? Oh, okay.
No. Not him. I don't want to be Derek. I want to be the host of this show. I want to go to these crazy places that have this fucking history of war times, during the plague. It's all the things. And I love it because I love learning new shit. I love stories.
That's a very unique, what do you want to be when you grow up? You want to be a host on a 20-minute long horror show on the Travel Channel?
Absolutely. I'd love to do that shit.
I feel like if you really buckled down, you could. This doesn't seem like an unattainable goal.
Yeah, pay me to travel. Well, there's not a lot of reality paranormal shows now, though. It was this sweet spot in the early 2000s. to like the
That's
mid
true.
2000s.
I
Yeah.
feel like child mediums. There's something about children who can see ghosts was the last one, and those commercials just gave me such
Oh
douche
my
chills of these
god.
kids pretending to hear things. But they were like bad actor kids. Like it was awful looking.
Oh my god, I remember that shit. I didn't watch it, but I remember hearing about this and I was like, nope, not even gonna tread on that water.
Did you see these? You of course saw the South Park parodying the ghost hunters of the. Oh, I think I'm getting a major clue over here.
Oh yeah,
The
over
gay ghost
here.
hunters.
Over here.
Yeah, that was amazing. That's my
Yeah.
experience with ghost hunting shows.
I also recently, about 2 hours ago, I was talking to my good friend Nathan back home. Thank you, Nathan, for providing me with this information. He grew up in Arkansas and he watched this show on the Trinity Broadcast Network, which is that is a topic. It is all about it's focusing on Christ. It's focusing on God. And there's a segment that is towards children. It's this guy who is a puppeteer, he's a ventriloquist, and he was on this segment of that broadcast network called Joy Junction.
Joy Junction?
Joy Junction. Doesn't that sound fucked up already? All right, so
yes, this sounds like
yeah. Let me get
Jeepers
into it.
Creepers director could have been involved. But
so this guy, the host of it, his name is Ronald William Brown.
Very generic names. I like that.
Right. RWB. Ronald William Brown. Let's just do RWB. So
really
RWB.
Bastard. Yeah.
He preached the name of Christ, but also later on was found out that he was a molester and was aiming towards finding children, meeting up with them, having sexual acts with them, and then eating them. Yeah. This was his goal, but fortunately he got caught before he did those things, and will be in prison until 2032.
Where we will welcome him back with open arms.
Oh sure, yeah. Let's just fucking kill him. I hope he dies in prison.
The social climate is perfect for this man's release. He's gonna fit right in.
Yeah, he is truly a piece of shit.
All right, well, Godspeed, Ronald.
Literally Godspeed.
Minutes ago, but I do know.
Yeah, look that shit up. I watched a 1-minute clip of this guy fucking speaking through this dummy's mouth.
Yeah, let's get to the real issue here. How is his puppeteer work? Is he any good at his job?
Awful. I mean, no, it's awful. It's awful. So his puppet, his fucking dummy is speaking, and you could see his mouth the whole fucking time, and he has that like super weird high pitched chimo voice.
Chimo? Did you call it?
Chimo, child molester.
It's Chomo.
No, it's Chimo, bro. Chimo.
Okay, is this going to be another Tobe Hooper argument?
All right, you know what? I don't want to discuss that. It is a Chimo. Chimo.
Okay.
Child, like CHI. Child.
Right. Well, in prison, where they use that term, it's Chomo.
But okay, well, I guess you would go. Did you go to fucking prison?
I did not go to prison.
Okay, well.
We'll save all that for a different episode. A very special episode.
All right. You have things to say about...
I mean, I don't have any... See, this is just going to fall flat. I heard there was some Hellraiser news. I wasn't sure if they're rebooting it, if it's getting a series, or what's happening, but...
It's getting a reboot, I'm pretty sure.
Is it?
I think that Doug Bradley is going to be in it, but I'm not positive, so don't quote me on that. But I did hear this as well.
Because, that's just Pinhead being, probably my favorite monster, if you want to call him that.
Well,
I've been hoping for that film to, come back with any kind of quality since the original Hellraiser. So hopefully they can do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I hope that in this time of where we need to reboot or do sequels to core franchises like that, Hellraiser, I feel like would be perfect. It would
Yeah, I mean, it never got its due. It never got the film it deserved, really. I mean,
no.
it's just a shame.
Yeah, exactly. The obviously the best one in that franchise is the first one, as with a lot of other films and franchises.
Sure.
But it could definitely be something. I hope that if Doug Bradley is not Pinhead himself, then he has something to do with it, a writer or an actor.
Voiceover, something.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
yes, because he is wonderful
yeah.
in that movie.
But other than that, no, I just have, I mean, some personal horror, I guess you could call it.
Always with the personal. Is it more alcohol?
Interesting you should say that. I am 9 days sober as we record this.
My God. Okay, so we both had birthdays.
That's true.
Now
And
we're
that's
older.
actually the day that I stopped. I'm doing another year without alcohol here.
A year?
So,
You're gonna go a year without
gonna go
alcohol?
a year. I did 2016 to 2017 with no alcohol.
Oh my God,
Got in
Charles!
the
I
best
don't
shape
know
of
if
my
we can
life.
record this
So yeah,
podcast
I know
without
it's gonna be
alcohol.
interesting. That's for sure. With you burping and swigging whiskey and singing sailor tunes, and me just eating broccoli over here and smiling politely.
You've changed.
I have.
I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. I'm
New
beside
year, new
myself right
me.
now. Ooh, new you. Yeah, quarantine. Like, take a time out.
Yeah. I am doing yoga and a lot of other things you find horrible.
Ugh.
Mhm.
Ugh.
I'm eating egg whites and doing yoga and practicing self-care, as the kids call it.
Oh my
Um,
God.
yeah, so this could get very interesting.
All right. Well, let me know when you move to Berkeley.
Okay, yeah, so my aunt is a purple-haired feminist teacher in Berkeley.
Hey, I'm sure she is. That's cool.
She is, yeah, Aunt Deborah. I haven't spoken to her in years. But
All right.
so shall we mosey
yeah,
on into the
let's get into the movie. This movie is ridiculous.
1985's House. You know it, you love it. I hope you've seen it. If
And
not, hit pause and go watch it immediately.
you know what's weird is, okay, so we say 1985, but it actually came out in 1986.
Yeah, I'm aware. I was finding discrepancies during my research.
Research, yes.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was the issue with me too, is that I had it down as 1985 because that's what it comes up as. But when you really look it up, it's like, all right, well, it was filmed in 1985, didn't come out till February of 1986.
Yeah.
But that was like an afterthought. That was like an afternote on all of the things.
I only went into it because 1985 is the year of our Lord and the year of my birth. So I always found that
Ooh, girl. Yeah, I bet.
kind of nice.
Bet. Okay, and, so
well, this film also holds a very special place in my heart. You don't know this. I've seen this over 30 times, and it was the very first horror film that I ever saw.
Real reaction. Did not know any of that. Nope. I watched this movie probably when I was a child, and then when I rewatched it, because this was Charles' pick, had no idea. Okay, cool. So you got a lot. You got a lot on your mind about this.
I've got a lot.
I feel it.
It weighs heavy. It's why I stopped drinking, is because I rewatched House. No, that's not true. But yeah, so I have a lot. I have pages and pages of notes and look like the deranged scribblings of a madman. So we can get into all that. But why don't you just break down briefly what the film, in a nutshell, pitch me the movie in a couple of sentences.
Oh, it's so hard. Okay, so I do want to say one thing really quick. What I noticed in the very beginning, in true 1980s fashion, it has what is now, I think, and I feel can be applicable to most people, is that it has the Stranger Things font.
When it does, doesn't it? That just occurred to me.
It absolutely does. It's red and black. It's in those weird blocky letters. And in the back of my mind, I was like, did Stranger Things do this? Because I don't know. Did they watch this? I don't know. Probably not. Whatever. So basically, you want me to go over the synopsis of this? This is
Sure.
a hard one.
I don't think so. I could one sentence it, but I've seen it 30, 40 times.
Why don't you say?
All right. So basically, this film is about a horror writer, similar to Stephen King, without not as successful. But Roger Cobb is a horror writer who is divorced semi-recently from his smoking hot wife, who is a TV star on a bad soap opera.
Oh my God, she's so pretty.
Oh my God, I have a lot to say about Kay Lenz, but we'll get into that later. Also, some great photos I can send you while we're off air.
Nice.
But
Titty pics?
oh yeah,
No.
oh yeah, she's got some '80s hangers, just classic '80s tits.
Woo,
But
girl.
anyway, they're recently divorced, partially because their child went missing. While Roger was doing some landscaping outside, she was inside doing homemakery things. So their marriage fell apart. They got divorced. They don't really talk. She's worried about him. He also has unresolved issues with his time in Vietnam. He wants to write his next novel about that, but his publisher doesn't want that. They want another horror story, of course, because that's where the money is.
That's a big thing. Let's touch on
yeah.
that really quick. How he consistently has flashbacks to Vietnam.
Sure.
But the thing is that they are awful flashbacks. It's not like Apocalypse Now flashbacks. It is like, hey, let's be in a play about Vietnam and play dress up.
It does look like a stage production, a junior high stage production of Vietnam.
And that's like one of the main things, because he is writing a book about that time that he spent in Vietnam.
And it's supposed to mean a lot to him and be of quality. But alas, the scenes
definitely not.
Yeah. But anyway, so this guy's aunt owns a giant mansion, honestly, and
beautiful Victorian house.
Oh yeah, she kills herself in it, and he inherits the house. He decides he's going to spend some time there. It's also the house where his child went missing. He's going to write his Vietnam book there, and mayhem ensues after midnight. That's essentially your plot.
Yeah, every time after midnight.
Yeah. So we could just kind of take this in chronological order and go through the hits and misses of this film. Yeah, let's do it.
So beginning shot, like I said, Stranger Things font for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It looks like, so when you're going through, not necessarily even the font, but there are flashes to the house, it looks like there's almost like X-ray vision.
Yeah,
like
they're inverted, they're negative shots.
Yeah, negative shots of the house. Mm-hmm. And let me just classify, this is supposed to be a comedy horror movie. This is not to be taken seriously. It's not even on a B level where it should be taken seriously, but then gets turned into a humorous attack of horror.
Interestingly enough, it was written by Fred Decker completely to be a horror film, and it was only on the rewrite by Ethan Wiley that it became humorous. I would love to see the original pure horror cut of this. Because I can't even imagine this film without the comedy, because yes, it is one of the early horror comedy films.
Well, then it would, like I said, if it was not turned into that, then it would go back to a B horror movie and maybe turn into a cult horror movie. But let's just take it as like a humorous fucking horror movie, because that, honestly, I feel like I'd love to see that original version. But I feel like this is it's so, I cannot put the emphasis enough on how fucking ridiculous this movie is. It is dumb and ridiculous. And so anyway, so they go, so beginning font, X-ray fucking vision.
But then we get an excellent tracking shot where the camera goes from like the back of the house, wraps all the way around to the grocery delivery boy.
Oh my God, the grocery boy. Yes. So what's funny is when I'm watching this movie, this kid pulls up his bag of groceries. Mm-hmm. I'm like, is this a grocery boy? And then he walks into the house.
What does he say? I've got it written down.
He says, Mrs. Hooper, or whatever.
It's me, the grocery boy.
Yeah. Me, the grocery boy.
Which is just a hilarious moment.
Little baby grocery boy.
To refer to yourself as a grocery boy is just perfect. I love that.
Well, yeah, because that's what he or she knew him as.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Hooper, who is the main character's aunt,
Mhm.
refers to him as the grocery boy. She has now hanged herself.
Yeah.
He walks into that, and thus begins.
Yeah.
that honestly is the most terrifying moment in the movie.
Yeah, and I wrote here hanging scene still shocking underlined a bunch of times.
She looks like this crazy fucking porcelain doll.
Yeah, the body swings like with perfect elderly weight on the end of the rope.
Oh my god, it looks like a fucking doll that you dragged out of the attic that you've had there for 20 years and somehow has a broken ass smile.
So I was probably about 5, 6 years old, and snuck downstairs and joined my older sister because she had rented this film from Blockbuster, which is a place where people used to rent videotapes.
Oh man!
Yeah, and that was my introduction to horror, and probably my introduction to hanging and suicide, all in one whack. So
wow, in
for
one
6,
whack.
Yeah, I was just bam online all of a sudden, and it's still shocking to me. I don't know. You could speak on it because you don't have the emotional, attachments to this film like I do. But I was still like, my heart was a flutter during that moment.
No, that's good. That's I love quick introductions to emotional meaning, especially when it comes to like horror. Like you see something, you're like, hey, I want more of this shit.
Yeah, and there's no humor up to this point yet. It is the very next scene. The first laugh of the film I have clocked at 5 minutes and 40 seconds when it cuts to Roger Cobb signing autographs for his enthused fans, and you see a large Samoan woman with her face pressed against the camera saying, "I'm your biggest fan."
Oh
and
my god!
Ish, and it's hilarious. It's a funny little joke where they make fun of the freaks that are horror fans.
I was just going to say, let's talk about that for a second because
yes.
most of those people that are in line, this is a typical situation where somebody is getting something signed and so the main character is a horror writer. Again, like Charles said, Stephen King-esque. These kids that are in line, the alt kids.
Oh, the punk.
Truly the alt kids. There's that chick that comes up that has like that fucking mohawk.
Like your hair, he says.
Yeah, he's like, I like your hair. Thanks. Just a solid thanks.
Yeah.
But it's just a line of people who are just in fucking complete adoration of him. And most of those people are these people that look like me or kind of look like you, Charles. Like these fucking weird ass cornucopia of fucking alt kids.
Yeah, well, there's also Johan, the frail man in the corduroy jacket, who's like, "I'm your biggest fan. I'm Johan. Sign it to." Yeah, so it runs the gamut. Yeah, we're not a great looking bunch, us horror folk, but we are passionate.
We care. We care. Yeah, and then it goes, it shows his life. Like he goes back home to his lonely little
with his freezer full of banquet TV dinners.
Oh my god! And
they ate at the time of the 1980s. I remember eating those, but I didn't throw the entire box into the microwave and nuke it like he did. That was just incorrect.
That's what I was just
going to say. That meal. Yeah.
He takes the entire. Okay, no one has ever done this. Who cares about themselves? All right?
Only in blackout would I ever do something like
I have
that.
fucking banquet dinners, man. I have frozen dinners. However, I don't take the whole thing.
No, you have to slice
even with the wrapper.
You have to remove it over the corn. It's the whole thing.
Yeah, you don't just throw the whole box in the fucking microwave and expect it to be okay.
It's a man who's given up.
That's not a thing. Yeah, yes, exactly. He's lonely. This is frozen food for life type of thing.
This is very post-breakup, types of decisions that Roger's making.
Right. Then he sits down. He's starting to write, and he has what I've noticed in the movie, which becomes a theme. I don't know if you notice this either, but he has a Diet Coke next to him.
I noticed.
Okay, so throughout the movie, there's Coca-Cola products.
And you suspect some sort of promotional.
There's several different. There's signs, and there's cans throughout the movie.
Okay, I mean, signs and cans exist in life, but I'm not
specifically
shooting
Coca-Cola.
it down. Okay. fine product. We
Mhm.
here at We Are Horrorible are sponsored by Coca-Cola and Coca-Cola products, as well as Banquet TV dinners. You can just throw the whole thing into the microwave, folks.
Put the can in there. Why not?
It's delicious.
Just mix it up.
So this is also where we're introduced to Kay Lenz, who plays Sandy, Rogers' ex, who's just a fucking smoke show. I mean, just a gorgeous... I don't normally like blondes. Sorry, blonde listeners, but Sandy really does it for me. She really gets me going in that 1980s way.
I want to touch on something really quick because I think
Mhm.
that you're talking about where they're on the phone.
Yeah.
So they're on the phone. Okay, wait. You can go ahead. They're on the phone for a second, but then the next phone call that he makes is fucking crazy.
Why don't I remember the next phone call? I've seen this film 30, 40 times.
Okay, so he makes a call to... He pulls out his address book, and he calls the FBI.
Oh, yes, of course. How could I forget?
That's insane. Who the fuck has the FBI almost on an equivalent of speed dial?
Again, only in a blackout have I ever picked up my phone and dialed the FBI.
It's like if you were to pick up your phone and say, "Hey Siri, call the FBI." That's what he's doing. He's calling the FBI and he's asking about his kid.
I'm tempted to do that live on the podcast. Just pick up my phone and see if Siri will plug us into
Oh my
the
god!
FBI. No, we probably shouldn't during these times.
Not right now.
Not right now.
No, too soon.
Many years later, he's still bugging, essentially, an FBI agent who I assume was assigned to the case to find his missing child. And the guy also mentions, hey, also stop calling Bob over at the CIA, too. So he's not only calling the FBI, but the Central Intelligence Agency, who should play no role in a missing child case. But hey, Roger's missing his son. I can't blame him. I probably would have given up by then, but, he's got stick-to-itiveness.
No, yeah, but essentially, what's funny about that is, so he's calling the FBI, and his friend who is in the FBI on the phone is talking about the CIA, and then he also says, "Hey, you know what? We'll call you."
Yeah, don't call us. We'll call you.
Don't call us. Yeah, we'll call you.
Yeah, it's a real impolite brush off he gets. And then just hangs up and goes back to his word processor.
Well, no, he hangs up and then he has the phone call with his ex, and
he pretends to be having a poker night with his buddies.
Yep. Yeah. He goes to his stereo, turns up the volume, answers the phone, pretends to have friends over, says, "Hold on a second, I gotta turn the volume down. These people are being crazy." Like he's doing something away from her, whatever.
And he sells it pretty hard. If you close your eyes, it sounds like he's having a wonderful night. I mean...
Yeah, he also sounds like a fucking dick, but yes.
Yeah. Well, she's asking him to face things that he can't yet. She's there for him, and worried about him, and he's just not ready to hear all that.
They're talking. It's like she calls him. She's at an award party.
Oh, right. She's at a phone bank. Phone banks used to exist in public areas. Yeah.
She's at like she's winning an award for something that she was
she lost an award.
A loss.
She didn't win. Yeah.
Either way, she's at a party. She's an actress. Yes.
Yes.
So it's okay.
On a soap opera or a shitty show.
Sure, she is that actress. She looks like that actress. She is a blonde 80s soap opera actress.
Mm-hmm.
And she hangs up, and then there's this moment where he's thinking to himself, and he picks up the phone, and he tries to talk to her again. And the whole time I was like, phones don't work that way.
Sandy? Wait, Sandy? Yeah, she's already
Wait. Like, she said goodbye and hung up.
Yeah.
He just picked it back up. Phones don't fucking work that way.
I mean, I didn't see that as a ridiculous moment of the past. I really did see that as what a regretful dickhead. What a pitiful man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's regretting all the things.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not going to say I haven't hung up a phone on my iPhone and then gone, wait, in desperation at a black screen. So I kind of, I felt for Roger. I really did. The man's been through some traumatic things.
You do feel for him, but at the same time, like, you're having an emotional reaction, whereas you should have probably thought out what you're doing.
So yeah, it's is it right after that in his the emotional whirlwind he's in? He decides he's going to go back to the house, or is this when we
Yes,
see
it
the
is. It is.
funeral? He
It,
gets the call. I don't. My notes aren't that
no,
thorough.
literally right after, he decides to go back to the house. It is then there's a realty sign,
Oh yes, so we both read
and
this as well.
it's by Craven
Yes, it
Realty.
is.
Yes. These are all this is also wonderful because the director and the producer had to they're all old horror folk.
Mm-hmm.
Um I'll save it for some of the fun facts, but like they're all fans of Wes Craven's work. They're all fans of Toby Hooper's works.
Right, like the aunt, Mrs. Hooper.
Yes,
Could
and
possible
again,
nod there. Yeah.
yeah, and Craven Realty,
Right.
which is a very obvious
Yeah. It's
nod to.
I caught that in the film before reading it in the IMDb trivia.
Oh, I didn't
Which,
see. I didn't even read it in the IMDb trivia. I just
well,
paid
there you go.
attention.
Maybe I'll find one that you missed. So
So
yeah,
this
he
is.
decides to go and stay. Classic writer move. I'm gonna go and be by myself in solitude and write my novel on Vietnam.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go back to a house where my fucking son was taken, and the
Yeah,
most horrible experience I've ever had is here, and I would like to feel some shit.
where my
So
aunt just hung herself. Yeah, I mean, he wants to
hanged.
fix things, but doesn't want to. He's very confused, Roger. I don't know if he knows what he wants.
He doesn't. Throughout the
No.
entire movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So goes
So
back to
the tour of the house, we start to get some fun little kind of nods or clues, some foreshadowing about what we're gonna see, which I thought were all really effective, like seeing the fish on the wall and the tools in the shed.
Oh my god, I want to say this. Okay, so crazy thing about this house, it is stuck in this weird fucking abstract Picasso art situation
Yeah,
mixed with sea folk.
right. Nautical Picasso is kind of the
Nautical,
motif.
Marlin, harpoon,
It's like Hemingway
fish.
with Picasso, and
Where
it's,
the fuck? What was this theme? Like it is all abstract art and then sea things.
yeah, it's
As
like
in
half the
sea,
house
as
is
in the
like
water.
right. It's half Olympia, half Paris. It's a very strange.
It's
home.
weird. I don't know what their previous jobs were. I'm hoping somebody was a fisherman.
Yeah, well, his uncle caught the largest fish that year. The realtor says they discuss it in
Oh my
passing.
god, the realtor is so fucking ridiculous. I want to touch on that for a second.
Yeah, he's a bit of a goofball.
The realtor, Jesus Christ.
From
Showing
Craven
him-
Realty.
Showing him the house, whatever. And
Yeah.
the theme with talking about his aunt that owned the house is that she was crazy and she was weird and she was dark and all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it is in the basement where
Shed, I believe.
Tool shed. I think it's tool, whatever. It was outside. It was whatever. And so the realtor looks at him at one point and says, "Yeah, she was a morbid little woman, wasn't she?"
Yeah.
While he has this harpoon
in
his hands and then accidentally shoots it.
In a very a cartoony moment where it goes like boing into the wall, like an inch from his,
Yeah,
his
it goes
throat.
fucking flying past him, and he's just like, "This is fine."
He goes, "Oops, sorry," or something. Yeah, it's the most
sorry about that.
Yeah.
Didn't even.
I do feel like after you pass, many, many years from now, somebody will refer to you as, "Oh, she was a real morbid little woman, wasn't she?"
But that's fine because they will be saying it out of love, whereas he was saying it like she was fucking crazy.
I can see you becoming an old Miss Hooper down the line at some point, but
that's fine.
Time will tell on that one.
I would love to own a Victorian house that's haunted.
There you go.
Into the other dimension.
Yeah, don't go dangling yourself. That's all I ask. So yeah, that's the wonderful. So in that tour, we do see these. We get the setups of the fish on the wall, the tools in the shed, maybe even the guns in the background. I'm not sure on that. But at the end of his kind of first night in the home, we see Roger reminiscing in Jimmy's old bedroom, which has remained untouched all these years, which is always
Mhm.
kind of gross to me. But
Oh,
in a,
yeah, and he has a wagon bed, by the
a
way.
wagon bed, a dope
Not
wagon
even
bed that I
a
would
race car
love.
bed. This
No,
is a
this is
wagon bed made out of wood, handcrafted. All you fucks that had a race car bed,
Yeah. No, instead of
not
race
even.
cars, young Jimmy was obsessed with the Donner Party and kind of westward travel by wagon.
More power to
So,
him.
yes. And then weirdly, I took a note on this. Roger deciding to sleep in Jimmy's wagon bed his first night there.
And I don't know if you noticed, but so on his little nightstand that exists
Hmm.
next to the bed, there is a figure of Frankenstein's monster.
I did not see that. Look at you noticing things.
There's a little statue of Frankenstein's monster that's used for a bookend.
Huh.
Yeah.
Whenever I see books, like I always want to stop and zoom in and try to catch some titles because
Oh
I
yeah,
feel
of
like
course.
those have to be placed purposefully. It's not just Reader's Digest. I hope.
Oh god, no. No, everybody places that shit purposely. They want people to look at it and be like, all right, I got
Yeah,
you.
I mean, when I direct my horror film, I'm going to be carefully selecting the books. You're going to have Death of Bunny Monroe in there. It'll be great.
All the things.
But so yeah, Roger tucks himself into his missing, presumed dead son's bed, his wagon bed, and oh, my next note. It just says, "And that deep V sweater." Dot
Oh
dot
my
dot.
god, that's what I was gonna say. My next note is deep V sweater! Exclamation point.
I love that our notes match. That's
It
so funny.
is the biggest V I've ever
It's
seen.
so deep.
It goes almost to his belly button. I'm not even fucking kidding. It
And
is
you
the
know what? That man is fucking cut. He has a wonderful torso for that deep V sweater. Not many men could pull it off, but god damn it, Roger Cobb looks great in it.
yeah, and I'm
So
sure that he insisted upon sporting that, and that's great.
yeah, it was in his contract that he in every film he's been in, he wears that. I hear.
So this is also when the neighbor gets introduced.
Ah, George Wendt.
And I refuse to call him by his real name. I just completely forgot because he is Norm.
Yeah, he's Norm.
He's Norm from
It's
Cheers.
the only thing you know him from. That in House, where he plays Norm from Cheers. But also does a hell of a John Candy impression, and the kind of, I forget the first line, but it's really like a dead on John Candy impression. I took a note on it. It was so upsetting. But
He does that, and he goes on to say how his aunt, uh, Roger's aunt,
yeah,
was a senile old hag,
old hag. Yeah,
and then quickly reverses it
yeah,
to how
that's
she was a saint.
yeah, that's the John Candy move. That was like all of John
Yeah,
Candy's humor. Like
yeah,
terrible, terrible sea hag. Great lady though. Great lady. Hell of
yeah,
a
great,
that
yeah,
turn
totally.
around. Yeah. So we're introduced. Yeah, he is the comic relief in a film that is essentially comic relief. Um, but yeah, it's a real treat to see him on screen. And he, he played the role well. I guess it's not the most three-dimensional role, but yeah, it's always
He's
great to
really
see Big
fun.
Fat George
He's
Wendt. Yeah.
really fun because he is that like weird, obsessive, awkward, concerned neighbor that could be like your best friend or
Hmm.
your most hated enemy.
Yeah, he's imposing for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, to the point where Roger Cobb has to repeat the word solitude to him over and over to get the
Yeah,
point across that he wants to be left alone.
yeah. So then after that, he has a flashback.
Yep.
And what's interesting, so the first thing that I caught with the flashback is his Vietnam buddy, his partner, his guy that is there is the guy from Night Court.
There you go. Richard Mole, who plays Bull on Night Court. We have two 80s sidekick comedy guys in this horror film, which is fascinating.
He's Big Ben.
Yep.
And Big Ben is dressed in all the army attire that you can imagine, but also with like these fucking bullet belts around his
Yeah,
chest.
he's got the X ammo loops over him. He's got, skull and bones on his helmet. Um, it was weird because I did grow up also watching Night Court, and I only knew him as Bull. But I did find him like weirdly intimidating. It's partly his size, partly his bald demeanor, but I mean he's kind of a big freaky dude in this, which is weird.
Yeah, it's his voice, I feel, and his overall demeanor about how like he's the only person in this specific structure of people who are there who is like this giant human.
Yeah.
And then
In
what's
Vietnam, the people are so tiny to begin with, so even
okay, it
even
is
more so over there.
but what's also funny about this specific scene is that when he has this flashback, yeah, he has this interaction with Big Ben. He has this interaction with the other people who are in his army troop, whatever the fuck you call them. I don't know, brigade. I don't know. There's only like 6 people in his
His
grouping.
unit.
Yeah, sure. All right, his unit. Somebody throws a grenade.
Yeah.
Somebody obviously on the opposing team throws a grenade and it blows up, but nobody gets hurt, and they jump like 2 feet away from it. And my initial reaction is a grenade definitely has more room to kill than just 2 feet.
Killing radius. Yeah, I mean the Viet Cong were strapped for supplies. It could have been a dud. It could have been a bad mix, and the gunpowder. I mean, who knows? But yeah, it's a wacky. All the Vietnam scenes are very, like we said, junior high stage play. Mm-hmm. They're not great. No. But they get the point across. You don't need, we don't need Apocalypse Now in 1985's house. We just need, okay, he's having Vietnam flashbacks, which it does effectively, I guess.
Right.
It's
sure.
We get the idea.
Yeah. So after that, this is when he starts to go back upstairs. And upstairs is a whole fucking thing because this movie definitely has to deal with, you'll notice different themes throughout the movie where there are paintings on the wall of other dimensions. And there's a theme with mirrors and openings to another world. And this is the first introduction to, like, abrupt introduction to this. So he goes back upstairs and opens the closet, and suddenly there's this fucking terrifying monster.
Yeah, a demon of some sort. Just a large and spider-like, scorpion-like, fucking dripping black demon.
It is straight up body fucking problems. Like, this demon is coming at him, and he has claws, and he is melting, and he has faces attached to him, and he has all different colors. It's a nightmare. It is out of nowhere because you are in the earthly realm until this moment, and then this fucking creature comes at you, and he acts. This is the thing that I really want to touch on.
Yeah,
he fucking acts like it is normal throughout this entire movie. He's like talking to the, I don't know if you noticed this, you probably did, but he is talking to the house, and he is talking to his son and talking to other people like it is a normal thing that he has just dealt with his whole life.
Yeah, my note on it is Closet Demon, very well done, but why not show aftermath? Because after the first encounter, he just kind of goes to bed.
Yeah.
And it's very fucking bizarre because it's a very traumatic thing that he just went through.
These are not traumatic things to him, and that's what's hilarious about it, is because everything he does, like, there's a moment where he's he hears this noise, and he just he just throws up his arms, and he's like, all right, this is fine, whatever.
Yeah, this film was released right around the time when PTSD was starting to be discussed, and I did read an interesting piece on how this film is kind of a huge metaphor for that, which I don't think it was the writer's intent, but, PTSD could kind of be like him just shrugging this whole shit off and thinking he's crazy, not understanding why, used to the trauma, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's he just he's sliced to ribbons by a demon and doesn't seem to really care.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. This is the only moment that he really does care is directly after this. He does go outside for a second, and that's when he encounters his neighbor, who is. I'm just going to refer to him as Norm because he is
Yeah,
Norm.
right.
And Norm is out there with his dog, with Norm's dog. Norm has a dog, and Norm's dog is fucking like taking a shit on the lawn.
On the inside of the fence line. Yeah, it was
On
really
the inside of the fence line.
talk about imposing, Norm. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. And then later on, you even see them walking inside of the like it's the front yard.
No bag, nothing. Just
No.
it's that's how we used to walk our pets in the 80s, folks. It was very little respect given.
No good.
Real quick to touch on the demon, because I did read this, that it was an 18-foot long creature, and it took 15 people to work it during that
Oh my
scene.
god, I did read that too. Yeah, 15 fucking people.
I mean, that's impressive.
That's the thing, is this movie, all accounts, is a all the tropes of a haunted house, a horror writer, and then all of a sudden he opens a fucking closet and it's a different dimension and there's this giant fucking creature feature thing going on that could be straight up out of fucking H.P. Lovecraft story.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a different fucking turn.
Yeah, it's a big tonal shift, and it's actually this moment where the film shifts heavily towards the humor. It really kind of commits and goes all in with, and it really takes on, I thought immediately of Gremlins. Had a similar tone to this, and I did find out through my research that what was it? So the writer who punched it up, Ethan Wiley, and made it funny, did the sound effects for Gremlins. So there is actually a direct tie-in. Yeah.
I thought of just body dysmorphia and Cronenberg.
Okay, yeah, the effects and yeah, certainly.
Well, because when the monster comes, there's one split fucking shot. It's like 2 seconds of the demon coming out of the closet, and then you see, his face, the demon's face, claws from the demon, and then you see another body part and another face in the demon's abdomen.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, that's very fucking Cronenberg.
Also a little Hellraiser-y with, I mean. So yeah, it's, this picture is really starting to go off the rails here with what it's doing and what it wants to say.
We are about to get to my favorite scene, though, in this fucking movie. Dude, I like want to take my clothes off for this. Like, this is like...
Save it for the Patreon page.
No, this is so good. So, after that shit happens, when he goes back in, there's the toy car thing where a toy car comes from out of nowhere. And
which is one of the first times I remember seeing this in films, and it was kind of slightly innovative, I think. It was like Shining-esque.
So good.
Yeah.
It's so good because it has become a horror movie trope where a toy, a ball, a toy car, a doll, whatever, comes out of nowhere, and it's attributed to a lost child soul. And this is when he throws up his arms and is like, I'm talking to you. No one's talking back at me. Whatever. And just acts like it's fine. You're ignoring me. Okay. But then, oh my God, this is the best thing in the world. So that there's in the movie, I don't know if it's the living room. The house is so weird and the blueprint of it is strange to follow. So I'm assuming it is the living room or it's the study.
Yeah, den or a study area.
Yeah, where the marlin is hung up. It's a giant marlin fish, for people who don't know. Giant fish. It's a giant fish. I come from sea folk. This fucking marlin, there's this great scene where he's sitting down, staring at the marlin. Marlin stares back at him, moves his eye, and then just starts fucking talking. And it's like the marlin is possessed. It's like that toy that you had in the fucking 90s with the bass singing.
Billy Big Mouth Bass, like it says in my
Yeah,
notes right here. Yeah.
it is. Yes, exactly. It's just like that. And you know what that reminds me of?
But
This is the best thing. It reminds me of the deer slash moose head in Evil Dead 2.
yes,
It's exactly like that, right?
it is.
And this movie came out a year before that movie.
It did.
So
I'm
what's
telling you,
crazy?
there's innovation all through this goddamn thing.
So what's crazy about that is that this fucking thing, this marlin, this fish, freaks out. Roger grabs shotgun, tries to fucking shoot it. He does shoot it, but like not to death. Tries to kill it, and then he's like, "Oh fuck, I fucked up." And then he grabs a blanket and then just
Yeah.
throws the blanket over the fucking
As
face.
you do. Yeah, he just puts a blanket over the possessed marlin on the wall.
And then it's just like that for the rest of the movie. It's just
Yeah,
like that
it's
for
great.
the rest of its life. Like
It's
it's
like
just
how a teenage boy would address that problem. Like, I'll just put a t-shirt over it and ignore it.
it is this completely fucking possessed inanimate object that once was animate and is
Interesting.
now right, and is now fucking shot dead, blanket over its face.
Yeah, it's a wild scene.
That is the best fucking scene, dude.
Yeah, it's great. It's one for the highlight reel for sure.
Jesus Christ. He's also dealing with there's a few flashbacks that we kind of didn't touch on, but it like it's not like a huge point in the movie where he has the garden tools.
Yeah.
The garden tools are like kind of like a weird constant theme in the background where they're floating everywhere, and they're literally floating.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
I don't know how to. That sounds stupid, but
Yeah.
like the garden tools are in this shed. They're floating. They're trying to kill him.
They're coming at him.
Yeah.
They're sticking into door. He slams doors behind him, and they go through the door.
They go through the door. Yeah, they're coming after him, and the shears. When he in the beginning, when he is discovering that his boy is missing.
He's using the garden shears to prune a shrub.
Right, but if you notice, when he's walking away, he's holding the garden shears by only one handle, and they're just like flapping in the fucking wind.
Are they? They're like fighting?
He's not holding them by by both of the handles,
right,
like you would if they were like scissors. Like if they were closed, it's just one handle, and they're just. I'm like, that's dangerous.
Interesting. Yeah. He should have closed them and walked patiently and calmly as he was looking for his missing son.
Yeah. Oh, and then we get into the ex-wife demon shot.
Yeah, well, his ex-wife, he discharges the double-barrel shotgun.
Right.
In, broad daylight. Most of this film takes place in broad daylight, which is also interesting. All the
weird, and it has
creature horror
like a
stuff.
Weird feeling to it too.
Yeah, and it is kind of, again, innovation, and I kind of dug that. Who knows if it was a conscious decision or just like the permit that they had to film. But yeah. So of course he discharges the shotgun, and who shows up? His concerned ex-wife Sandy, looking fucking fabulous in a purple dress.
Oh, she looks fucking beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, go on and explain what happens to our dear Sandy.
I'm gonna do it in bullet points. So basically, it's very funny. So, she, in his eyes, turns into a demon. He shoots her, and then he has to discard her body.
A demon who looks exactly like a killer clown from outer space, by the way.
Yeah, it's basically like Evil Dead demon shit mixed with killer clown shit.
Mixed with like 3 a.m. bar hookup you wake up next to the next morning and just,
yeah, if they were from a fucking different dimension. Like,
you should see the numbers that I go to.
Ooh. Zing.
Right. So yeah, she turns into a fucking horrible creature.
She turns into a goddamn nightmare. But like an actual physical nightmare. And he shoots her, And then he puts her in the Harry Potter closet, dude. Did you notice that?
Yeah, she's living
It's the
beneath the
closet
stairs.
under the stairs.
Well, first he has the very emotional scene where he sees, as soon as he blows her away, she turns back into Sandy, and he
Yeah, but that's
scoops
all
her
a
up, and
toy.
he cries, and then almost immediately wipes his tears and decides he needs to stash her under the stairs because he hears sirens in the distance. So once again, Roger, dealing with his feelings wonderfully, just tucks her away in her little Harry Potter world.
Right. Um, go on with
So the police show up, of
it's
course.
so funny to me.
Yeah. The cops show up, and Norm shoulders his way in with the police, which is very strange. But so yeah, it becomes this whole thing. Why'd you
Well,
fire the gun?
they
Oh my
have a
God,
whole
you're a
dialogue.
cop. Yeah,
They have a whole dialogue outside because so Norm calls the cops. That's how the cops show up, and
right.
he says what's funny about this is that he
Yeah, what he
calls them because he
deems
says
it.
that it's an attempted suicide, which
Yeah, he
has
shrugs. He's like, I don't
nothing
know
to
what to
do,
call it. Yeah, I mean,
nothing to do with that.
you see him look for something. He's like, oh, suicide attempt, I guess. Yeah.
Right, and then the cops show up, and they're being whatever. They're being cops. They're being nonchalant about it, and they're talking
It's,
to him.
in all honesty, it's white people privilege.
It
2020.
is,
Let's
and
shot
also
it.
he's a writer, and he's
Yeah.
in this nice house, and he's saying that he was cleaning a shotgun, and that's why it went off, and he didn't know it was loaded. And then the other cop, the black cop, says, "Hey, I've always wanted to ask you this," and he goes. The Roger goes, "Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna go get a pen, and you need me to sign something." He's like, "No, but do you have a bathroom? Can I use your bathroom?"
Right. Yeah. Which was actually funny. It made me kind of laugh. That was like,
Oh, that made me laugh a
yeah,
lot.
it was a nice little joke that they threw in there that this fucking idiot thinks he's that famous.
Right. And the cops go in there. So the black cop is using the bathroom. The white cop is sitting down because Roger has now offered him coffee.
In the world's shittiest kitchen, by the way. The kitchen doesn't look like it
Oh, I
belongs
know.
anywhere
It
near
literally
that
looks
house.
like a utility closet because you can see all the things. You can see all the cleaning things. It's a utility closet mixed with a tiny fucked up kitchen.
Yeah, it's like a hostel kitchen. It's
Yeah.
just
Which is strange because this house is fucking huge and beautiful.
Yeah.
And so
well,
they're
old
sitting
Mrs.
down.
Hooper wasn't much of a chef, but she got her groceries delivered for Pete's sake.
Dear God. So they're sitting down, and the one cop is having coffee, and the other one is going to the bathroom. And at one point, God damn it, my fucking notes with this is just like, dude, the cops end up leaving because that's how that works. Is like there's actually no question, there's no fortitude with figuring this out. They end up leaving, and he opens the closet door, the Harry Potter closet door, and you see a fucking moose head.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
That's like a huge tip of the hat to me too, because remember I was saying earlier with the Marlin, the possessed Marlin, and now there's a moose head in this closet where this body is supposed to be.
Yeah, nothing ever comes of it, but yeah, it's certainly purposeful that it was in there.
Right. So, go on from there.
Okay, well, from what I recall, the Sandy monster is gone from the Harry Potter place and pops up, surprising him in the foyer. And she's now speaking in a horrific voice, a very high-pitched voice that my note says here, female monster has voice of all my exes.
He started, but the thing is he's chasing her throughout the house with a fucking harpoon. This is like a theme that comes up throughout the movie. He has harpoons for days, apparently. Because
again, a very nautical family.
But this is the thing, he's not even chasing her with a harpoon gun. He has a harpoon in his hand. Like he's
or was it a fire poker?
No! He says it later that it is a harpoon.
So is it the harpoon gun that Norm is to shoot
Yes.
at the raccoon
Yes.
later? Okay,
Yes.
right.
Ooh, let's talk about Leia.
So yeah, she has that horrible haunting voice, and she's like fucking with him. She's like, "Come on, Roger," and all that kind of shit.
And
And
this,
he ends
I
up.
want to describe this
Mhm.
this entity as, because y'all can't fucking see this shit.
Yeah, it's
It
hard to
is
picture.
a giant Godzilla obese monster of a housewife. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's like if a troll doll was real, but it was like in the trunk of a car for 3 weeks
And
dead.
melting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's disgusting and weird and constantly trying to eat you.
And it has a giant class ring on for some reason that they never really
Yeah, and has
get into.
long ass weird fake red nails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, he kills her violently, and then we get the first awesome song in the film, which is Linda Ronstadt's "You're No Good."
Yeah, that's
Um,
great.
it's fucking awesome, and again, the film is like, okay, we're not taking ourselves seriously. This is what it is. So now we're gonna have some fun with this kind of chopping up a body scene.
Oh
With
my
that
god, this
awesome song
scene!
playing.
Dude, this fucking okay, the note that I have for this fucking dismemberment / burying scene is dismembers body buries in like 20 different places.
Yeah.
Because when he is out in the backyard and he's starting to fucking bury her, one, let's talk about how, so he has her in this trash bag.
Yeah.
And the way that he uh gets rid of her is he dismembers the head, which is always, by the way, I really want to touch on this. Fucking shit, guys. If you're gonna observe horror movie rules, it's always the head and then light them on fire. Kill the head, kill the brain, you kill the ghoul, light them on fire. 2 fucking rules, always fucking stand by. I cannot say that enough. I want to get that tattooed on my body.
And then a great follow-up rule if that goes wrong. Like, I mean, he follows the 3 rules perfectly, because if that goes wrong, then you just got to chop it into many little pieces and bury it in 20 different holes.
This is the thing, though. He didn't light it on fire.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in a residential area. I don't know if he could have. Plus, he's a nosy neighbor. Norm's there.
You should fucking take it in and out to a fucking goddamn field. I don't know.
True.
So he chops off the demon's head and then drags it in the trash bag. And the demon, this is why you should light it on fire. Demon's hand crawling up that woman's leg, that neighbor's leg.
Oh yeah, so as he's dragging the body out, he sees in his pool, or his aunt's pool, there is another 80s smoke show.
Oh yeah, she's just there in his pool.
Tanya, yeah, played by one Mary Staven. I also have nudes of her I can send you. Yeah, she's not as great.
What, really? She looks hot as fuck.
She's got a weird flabby 80s ass, and I don't know. I like Sandy a lot better. But so she's DTF seemingly. She's hitting on Roger and saying, "Oh, sorry, I just always used to swim in this pool, and I hope you don't mind," and touching him, and he's got the deep V, and but yeah, the hand starts crawling out of the bag and attempting to grab the foot of Tanya. So he's kind of stepping on it and going, "Okay, yeah, nice to meet you. Get the fuck out of here," which she does, and then he, proceeds to bury the Sandy monster.
Yeah, and the thing is, what's weird about that shot is you can obviously assume what he's going to do because he has a shovel and he has the bag or whatever, but then it just pulls away with this shot of like 20 different new
gopher holes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, gopher holes. That's a great way of putting it, in the yard. And it's like, I guess you could do it that way. That's a good point of like dismembering the body that way.
Yeah, I mean, why not? It's not going to hurt. It's, get some good kind of cardio and arm workout in there. Roger cares about his body, obviously. It shows in the deep V.
Right.
So he gets a little workout in and gets rid of her. And also that we get, like, almost immediately the second awesome song in this film, which is dedicated to the one I love, by the Shirelles, which is another awesome fucking, this like weird out of nowhere R&B kind of disco-y fun soundtrack is just killer in this. So
no, it's fucking great. And then so the dog that I mentioned earlier, that pesky ass dog, right? This is why you don't do that. This is why you light shit on fire.
Yeah.
Because this dog goes to the yard, digs up the hand,
Hmm.
has the hand in his fucking mouth. And then
Well, he runs off. You don't see,
run,
like, it's just like,
yeah,
oh,
he
okay,
runs
I
off and
guess
it
that's over.
disappears, and you're like, yeah, I guess that's what that is. But
Yeah.
you know that there's going to be something from that because he now has a demon hand in his mouth.
Yeah.
Then so the second hottest woman, I guess, as
Yeah.
in your opinion,
Easily.
the woman, his neighbor comes over and is like, I'm gonna fuck you, but also I want you to watch my child because I'm gonna go on a date. So can you please like babysit for me? Thanks, bye. Here's his toys.
Yeah, it was another hilarious little, like, with him thinking he's gonna sign the autograph. This was a hilarious, oh, you think she's gonna fuck him, and then nope, she's just a fucking bitch who's gonna use him to babysit while she goes and bangs somebody else. Another reason I
Exactly.
don't like her as much as Sandy, but yeah.
Oh, because Sandy's a pure person.
Yes, she is. She cares
Oh,
about Roger. She's
oh.
not using him for his pool and his babysitting skills.
Well, they're divorced, and there must be a reason why. Anyway, so this bitch drops off her kid and leaves, and then the demon hand resurfaces and is suddenly on this kid's back.
Yeah,
and
like his entire child back is, the hand is the size of him.
It's the hand, yeah. And it's funny because it's not just like a split thing. It's not just like a one scene thing. It's like at least a couple shots because he's running around the house with his hand on his back and he isn't even know.
While his mom is like in the foyer saying, okay, you will watch him. And he's like, yeah, yeah. And he's chasing the kid around and ends up in the bathroom with him in a genuinely kind of frightening scene where he's trying to pry this hand off of the kid's back, young Robert's back.
Oh my god. And then he fucking does, and he throws it down the toilet and flushes the toilet. And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, that's going to be a terrible clog.
Yeah, for sure. I've left some doozies before, as I know you have as well. But yeah, that hand is going to do some serious damage to the plumbing. My note here, and I do want to point out, Robert is adorable, and he is a talented little child actor. He looked genuinely terrified and in pain when he was getting that hand off of him. And also, yes, I had both of the action figures that young Robert is later playing with, which is a Skeletor action figure and a little flying bumblebee thing.
Oh my god!
At the same time that this film was made, I had those toys. Just
dude,
crazy.
I had a Skeletor figure as well.
Look at the three of us, you, me, and Robert, just playing with our Skeletors with hands on our backs.
All right, let's get to the last 20 minutes of this because we are just
Hang on, one more note. So when Robert later on in the night is playing with his toys, he's trying to calm him down, and Roger under his breath says, how about a nice plastic bag? That he's suggesting Robert play with, indicating that he could suffocate the kid with a plastic bag. It was just a really cruel joke in the middle of there that I felt the urge to write down. But yeah, continue, because Robert's night doesn't go very well.
Let's get to the raccoon scene.
All right.
Okay. Why don't you go? Because this is probably the best scene in the movie.
So yeah, I believe there was another midnight encounter with the closet. Oh well, the monsters took young Robert. They tried to abduct him. Anyway, the Tanya comes back, collects her son, leaves, and Roger is gearing up for another attempt at the midnight closet monsters. He has his cameras set up, his harpoon gun, all this shit. And he is, once again, not interrupted. We find out he invites Norm over to come watch the game. So Norm comes with some beers. He says, listen, you're not here to watch a game. It's fucking almost midnight, you lunatic. No one's playing right now.
Yeah, he fucking tricked him. And basically, because Norm is so obsessed with just human contact in fucking general.
I feel it. I get it.
He's so lonely. Comes over with a 6-pack, is fucking ready for this, and Roger's like, hey, you know the thing that I was describing to you, which is the demon that we were talking about earlier out of the closet? Oh, it wasn't a demon. It was a raccoon. And this raccoon has a nest in this closet, and then he leaves and he goes and feeds, and then he comes back and builds his nest right away. Hold on, what the fuck? This raccoon builds a nest,
Yeah.
leaves and feeds on things, and then comes back here.
It's
Question
also
mark on that.
the size of a Saint Bernard or something. I
Right, that's
forget
what
which
he's saying.
dog. Yeah.
It's a size of a large fucking dog. I think it is a Saint
Hmm.
Bernard. Is what he said. So Roger sets up Norm with another fucking harpoon gun.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, at exactly midnight, I'm going to open this door and you're going to shoot it. And Norm is like, all right, and he's all fucking ready. He has gear on. He has this harpoon gun ready. And then what happens, Charles?
At the strike of midnight, he Roger yanks the door open, hiding behind a mattress he has, which is just a total. It's a guy move that I respected because it's like, yeah, I'd
The
probably grab a
shittiest
mattress too.
freaking mattress.
Yeah, I mean, it was very again
It
like
looks like
teenage boy.
it looks like 1,000 hookers fucked on it for years. It's
Yeah,
so
it's
terrible.
seen better days for sure. But he opens the closet, and sure enough, the fucking demon comes back out at him, and Roger starts whacking it with the fire poker, saying, "Come on, Norm," or whatever the hell his name was. Shoot it, Norm. And he does. He strikes the demon with the harpoon gun, but alas, the demon retreats and starts to go back to its dimension, with Roger by the ankle. So Roger's holding onto the door frame. He's saying, hold on to my hand, don't let it take me, yada yada. Sure enough, it takes Roger back to the dimension world, and Norm is dejected and very upset by what he's seen and what he's just lived through. But this is our first kind of journey into the monster dimension, which ends up just being Vietnam.
Yeah, definitely. So this is a, how can I say, grappling mentality that he consistently has throughout the movie, where there are these themes that come up where he is diving into literal closets and mirrors and wrestling with demons, and it's all because he was in Vietnam.
And also because of what he feels guilty for, because when we go there, we see that during his little patrol in Vietnam with him and Bull, Bull was wounded and then taken prisoner by the Viet Cong, and Roger went to go get help and did not kill or rescue Bull to prevent him from the torture. So we kind of see this in that little
Yeah, and
dimension.
let's go through that really quick. So what you're talking about is the the night court guy. So what happens with that is that after he grapples with the demon that we just talked about, let's just cut to him breaking the bathroom mirror.
Okay.
Which is now another portal because there's a painting that was done by his aunt that shows his son stuck in the bathroom mirror. So
It was covered with a rag. I mean, it's an awesome reveal,
yeah,
actually, when he pulls it down.
yes, the original painting is like covered with this rag. He pulls the rag down, and then he sees that part of the painting that is his kid that is stuck in this mirror, breaks the mirror, goes through it, goes into this flashback quotations of him in Vietnam. His kid is stuck in a bamboo cage, and it's because the man that we were just talking about, who I refer to as Big Ben Bull, what you were saying,
Yeah.
he was injured, and people in Vietnam were taking him away, and they tortured him and killed him, and Roger didn't have the guts to kill him before he got taken away.
Yeah.
So Bull stole his kid and imprisoned him in this weird dimension in Roger's fucked up flashback mind. And so Roger gets his kid back, and now all of a sudden they are in the real world again. They're in the house, and his kid is there, and now the skeleton Big Ben is there. And skeleton Big Ben is like a giant fucking zombie shit brick house.
Yeah, it's a badass, like, makeup costume effect situation. I mean, it looks fucking cool as shit.
Right. And so Big Ben is fucking with him. He's saying he's not going to get his kid. He's doing all these things. They have this whole runaround scene with the house and on the roof, and
He rips Big Ben's arm off and beats him with it in one comical moment during this climax.
that's a great fucking scene.
Yeah.
So they go, he also hits him with the chair. Like
Yep.
Roger fucking hits him with a chair and it breaks like fucking WWE style.
Yeah.
And then he throws so the house is situated on this cliff and he throws Big Ben off the cliff and then Big Ben comes fucking back. And then there's this do you remember the explosion in the house where there's all this fire?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's literally my notes. Is Big Ben comes back, house explodes.
Yeah, well, he grabs one of the grenades off of Big Ben's, body and pulls the pin and jams it up into his rib cage and says, I'm not fucking afraid of you anymore, Ben. And
Yeah,
he
exactly.
explodes and the house catches on fire.
The house catches on fire, it explodes, but it isn't really. And then the next scene is his wife, who previously we saw being shot and dead and turning into the demon, is now alive. And she pulls up, she's in a cab, she gets out, she's alive. The son is alive. The son runs to her.
They come out of the burning house. The family is reunited.
Is great. The family is happy about all the things. And then that's the end of the movie.
Yeah. The end.
It's a wild motherfucking ride.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
Weird as shit because it combines crazy 80s CG effects with practical effects, with the costumes and makeup and the fire.
Yeah, it's so goddamn campy.
It's so dumb.
But it knows it's dumb, and it leans into it heavily, which I appreciated. And I, of course, do have a soft spot for this. Like I said, it was the first horror movie I saw, and I've, went back to it like annually almost just to kind of get back to that place. Also, to get a little deeper, my father lost his mind in Vietnam, and I had a very strange, difficult childhood because of that. And he also went ahead and named me Charlie. The slang for the Vietnamese enemy.
Bravo.
Yeah. There's a scene earlier where a bull is wandering around in Vietnam and he's going, "Yoo-hoo, Charlie." And I remember being weirded out, like, why is he saying my name? That's not a character in the movie. I didn't even understand what the hell was going on. So I've got lots of personal issues that really enhance this film for me. But
oh my God, Charles.
Yeah, it's a real special picture.
So you want to talk about a couple of fun facts with this movie?
Yeah, please.
I mean, not even fun facts, just facts. So, it is actually part of a franchise because there was House 2, and then House 3 was not a direct sequel, but it is still part of that. And then House 4 and House 2 was called The Second Story.
Yep, of course.
Which I thought was fucking great. House 3 is the horror show, and House 4 is the repossession.
Have you seen any of the sequels?
I have not.
I believe I saw House 2 rented from Blockbuster when I was a wee lad. But I personally, I think I'm going to do all 4 at some point, just to kind of, I want more of this incredibly interesting, compelling saga in my life.
Oh, dear God.
We don't have to do episodes on them, but it's a personal journey I have to take.
Another fun fact, so Roger Cobb, the guy who played Roger Cobb, William Catt.
Yeah.
He is Tommy in Carrie.
Yes, he is. That's the only other thing I know I've seen him in.
Yep. Let's picture him with a little bit longer hair and younger. And I'm sure with also a piece of shit.
Yeah, but probably a beautiful torso that would look great in a deep V sweater, if we're being honest.
Let's also talk about the producer and the director.
Yeah.
So, Sean S. Cunningham is the producer. He did the original Friday the 13th.
Okay.
He also had a hand in both Last Houses, so the original and the remake.
Okay.
He did Jason X as well,
Mm-hmm.
which is amazing because the stunt choreographer for this
Mm-hmm.
movie is Kane Hodder.
Yes, it is.
Kane Hodder is the most consecutive of Jasons in Friday the 13th.
You did 4 or 5 of them, right?
4.
I want to say.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, 4. And then Steve Miner is the director.
Mm-hmm.
He directed Warlock, Halloween H2O, Friday the 13th Part 2, The Day of
And
the Dead.
3, didn't he?
I didn't see 3. I just saw 2.
I
But
think he
that
might
would
have
make
done 3 as
sense.
well.
They are very like Friday 13th franchise is very fucking interlocked with this, with Kane
Yeah.
Hodder,
Mm-hmm.
with Sean Cunningham, and with Steve Miner. So he also did the Day of the Dead remake, and he also did Lake Placid.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He also did Forever Young with Mel Gibson, which is a really odd
God.
romantic drama in the 90s. Also Big Bully with Tom
Oh my
Arnold.
god, Big Bully.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which was a guilty pleasure of mine as a kid. But also to stay in this weird incestuous kind of, everybody involved is involved with other things. But Ethan Wiley, the guy who punched up the script and made it funny, did the soundtrack for Jason X, which is like, yeah, there's always weird kind of connections.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that when you get into horror in general, when you get into very specific, like any sort of cult or B movie horror, you have all these crossovers. Everybody works with each other. Everybody is a family.
Yeah.
So it's hard to just say one thing about a specific person without getting into franchises or other things that have touched on horror movies.
Yeah, it's all 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon once you're
And
in the
that's
horror
another
world.
thing, is that an uncredited producer of this movie is Roger Corman.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Who is known for Silence of the Lambs, Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah. So
those are your fun facts.
those are my little fun facts. That's what I got.
All right, let's do
and the budget.
Yeah.
Budget was $3 million, made $22.1 million.
Look at that. Gotta love it. Come on.
That's amazing.
Just fantastic. We need more of this type of film. I mean, not necessarily this formula, but like this level of ambition and fuckitness, if that's a thing. You know, people shooting their shot and just really going for it, whatever the hell it is, how wacky it is. I don't care. I love the attempt.
Let's just get crazy.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and rate it. I have mine ready to go.
Out of exploding scarecrows? Are we doing exploding scarecrows?
No, I'm gonna go out of flopping marlins. Out of 10 crazy flopping fish, I give this a solid 8.5.
Oh man, you got a nostalgic back to it though. Okay. I'm gonna give it a 6.
But beyond that, 6.
I'm gonna give it a 6.
All right. Well, I just say this: they know the tone that they went with. They are fine with it. They leaned into it. They embraced it, and it's not perfect. It's not terrifying. It's not a lot of things, but it is. It is exactly what it is.
Is that you're right? It is exactly what it is. It is not culty necessarily. It is not B necessarily. It is not true horror necessarily. It is something that is wonderful because it exists on its own. And there's not a lot of movies like that where they're not trying to be anything. They're not necessarily trying to be comedic or horror in general. It just exists.
Yeah.
And so I still stand by. I'm gonna give it a 6.
All right.
It was pretty whatever. But it is a trip. It's a fucking quest.
So let me just ask you: are you sitting around 6 months from now, and you're holding a copy of Jeepers Creepers in one hand and House in the other? You're more likely going to put on Jeepers Creepers to have a nice. Really? Okay, that's interesting.
Sorry.
Maybe it's a nostalgia for me then, but yeah.
Nostalgia for me too with Jeepers Creepers.
Okay. See.
Let's do Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Yeah, I was just about to lead us into that. Go first.
No, you go first. Fuck.
I'm. You know who I'm fucking. I mean,
Roger?
I'm fucking Kate. No, I'm fucking Kate Lenz. The beautiful, wonderful Kate Lenz, Sandy in House. But only because you said if I can't fuck the person I marry. Otherwise, I would marry her.
No, I said you could. We defined.
Oh. Okay. Well, hang on. Hold the phone.
holding.
No, I'm still fucking her because you know what? I'm marrying Roger. God damn it.
Oh my
Uh,
god! I knew it.
yeah. We would just sit around in deep V's, writing our novels,
Oh my god,
eating
with that
banquet TV dinners
fire
with the
and
fires.
that fake like bookcase scene with the
Yeah.
library.
We have twin wagon wheel beds that we would,
My
shove
god,
up next to each other and
I
sleep.
can see it.
And
So
kill, I like Norm too much to kill him. I'm gonna go with I'm killing Tanya. You know what? My swimming pool is my swimming pool. I don't want to come home and have some random person. That's for me and Roger to
she
spend our
is just
quality
there
time
all
in.
of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want to babysit, although Robert, the kid, was adorable. But yeah, she's fucking dead. She's getting buried in 20 holes in the backyard. So yeah, who are you?
Okay. So I would. God. All right, I'm gonna start off with kill. I would kill that fucking demon wife thing. She is a
Okay.
detriment. I don't want her in my mind ever. So
Yeah.
I'd probably eventually kill his ex-wife. I'm sorry.
So
If
you're gonna kill actual Sandy just to get rid of Monster
Yes,
Sandy?
because I don't want to deal with Monster Sandy. As soon as I see her as Monster Sandy, then she's there all the time. She's in my shit. Her fucking hand is touching children. I don't want to deal with that.
Okay, fair point.
Yeah, I gotta kill her. Gotta kill her. Sorry, you're hot. Kill you. Who am I gonna marry and fuck? Let's see. I'd probably fuck Roger just because she's kind of pretty, and also again, he's in Carrie, prom king. Gotta
Mhm.
get it out of the way. Little notch on the fucking bed. Cool. I fuck you.
There you go.
Mary. You know what?
Say it.
This is all a ballpark. Out of way out of left field. I want to marry his aunt if she was alive. If she
Okay.
didn't die. Because
Wow.
she's the only one that knows what's going on in this fucked up house.
That's
And
true.
I'd
No one
listen to
believes you.
her. Yeah, I'd listen to her. I'd be her fucking best friend, dude. I'd marry that bitch because she knows what's going on with reality.
So you marry your future self. That's fascinating.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Wow. All right. Once again, I did not know these were going to be so unexpected when I suggested we play Fuck, Marry, Kill on the podcast.
Yeah, you're welcome. And how would you survive this? Let's talk about that real quick. We got like 5 minutes. Let's do this.
Okay. Jeez. It doesn't seem like it was a very difficult ordeal to survive. I mean, Roger had no particular set of skills.
Yeah, he's purposely putting himself in that situation because he's a tortured fucking writer. And he
could have left whenever he wanted and just sold the house.
Yeah. So let's say you were in the house, like you were there, but you had to be for whatever reason. And how would you avoid or kill all these fucking things?
I would have gone higher firepower than a goddamn fire poker and a mattress. He had all this
unit, Charles.
Well, he also had a fire poker that he was slapping it with.
Okay.
So I would have, I think, armed up a little more. He had Vietnam experience. He didn't really show it other than rolling down the stairs in that one ridiculous practice run he did.
Which is terrible.
Yeah. I would have used Norm more. He seemed very dupable. I could have sent him into the closet with a rope tied around him and just kind of followed that. Or I just would have written my novel and eaten banquet TV dinners and just forgotten about Jimmy.
Okay, so that was I have a very simple solution to this.
Okay.
I would rent a hotel room and then go into the house every so often. And then leave when shit got weird. If I opened a door to another dimension, what? I'd probably take a break for a day.
So you treat it like an Airbnb more than a home. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There you go. It's just a little writing retreat that you have to get out at 11:45.
Yeah, exactly. No, wait till midnight. None of that shit.
Okay. Yeah, that's two great answers to an impossible question.
I think That is house. I think that's the episode. I think that's us.
That is house. I think we got it. I think we put more time into this than the filmmakers did.
So let's not forget. Let's promote all the things now because we didn't do with the fucking first episode because we are made of dumb.
Yes.
So this is under BANGover Productions. I
Hmm.
would like to promote that. You guys will see that shortly
All of the places. Yeah.
in all of the places. BANGover Productions is a production company that I started and Charles is going to be a part of.
That's right.
And you can follow us. We are Horrorible. Ibble is in parentheses. The IBL is in parentheses.
We're gonna make it easier to find, but
we are going to make it easier. Just search for We Are Horrorible. You'll find it. I believe in you.
We'll be cross-linking everywhere. You'll be sick of us in no time, but keep on coming back.
Keep on coming. Keep on coming. And you can follow me at Bria R. Beal. Bria R. Beal, like BRB, on Instagram. And Charles, you're plugging.
Well, not only do I not know it off the top of my head, but I'm not sure if I'm inviting everybody over to that Instagram page. But
Yours?
yeah, it might. I have like 5 of them. I need to figure out where I'm pointing to
Wow.
find folks.
Okay, he's gonna refine this, and then he's gonna come back at you.
Yeah, I'll be back with more hot plugs.
Cool.
Do you want to discuss what we'll be watching next week so that people could go ahead and preview it if they want to listen to the podcast with even more enthusiasm?
No, because I have no idea what we're gonna be watching next week. We haven't decided.
I thought we were going to watch the one that you suggested.
Oh no, we don't know yet.
Okay, so this is a cliffhanger ending.
Yeah, so this is the thing. Charles and I are I feel like, and I'm gonna announce this right now, that we're gonna be going back and forth where like I chose the first one, you chose the second one, then I chose the third, that type of thing. And I'm not quite sure.
All right, there you have it, folks. We're not quite sure. Coming to you soon.
Yeah. It'll be either way, it'll be great. And stay tuned.
All right. We are Bria and Charles, and we are Horrorible.
Stay spooky.
Stay safe. Take care.